Hi everybody, I'm Scotty Gange. This week on our Coaches Sit Down interview series, Be Better, I was lucky enough to chat with Overland High School's head boys basketball coach, Danny Fisher. He's been at Overland for 9 years, has won 2 state championships, and mainly he's been a major positive influence on hundreds of local Colorado athletes. This guy is the man, and it was a blast talking with him. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So, Coach, thanks for the time. First off, appreciate it. I know you guys have a busy season and all that, so thank you for spending some time with us.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
Yes, sir. So you guys have had an exciting season so far. How's it all been for you? In this COVID era, like you said, we've been talking about the masks. How's that really transition been?
You know, it's been different. It's been different for all of us, though. The thing I constantly remind myself of is that every team, every program is going through the same thing. So the playing field is still level. There's no advantage, disadvantage, but navigating and coaching the kids to wear their masks so that we're not getting in trouble with the refs. It's just a different consideration and thinking about safety first, in a different way than we've ever had to before. So we've had to adjust, all of us have.
Of course, everybody has. Like you said, it's not like Overland is the only high school team in the country going through this pandemic.
I'd be complaining then.
That would be a disadvantage, that would be for sure. 9th year at Overland.
Yep.
I'm wondering, in your 9 years here, I know you've coached before, but just specifically here, what have you learned about yourself as a coach?
Gosh, I've learned a whole lot about myself as a coach. I've learned a lot about things that, some of my own weaknesses, things that I don't necessarily or didn't necessarily like about myself. When you go home at the end of the night after a tough game or a tough practice and you're challenging yourself about what you could have done better, a lot of things that I didn't like about myself were coming out in my coaching in my early years. And it's been therapeutic for me. It's made me a better person, so it's really shown a light on my weaknesses, even just as a human being. And it's kind of transitioned me into being a better overall person.
How would you say you recognized those changes and were able to grow from it?
And it's just a lot of self-evaluation, and then being able to have conversations with some of the more mature kids that I've coached that could give me feedback on how they were receiving things or how I was coming off or the way, my approach was affecting the team in certain situations. So self-reflection and then just getting really honest feedback from guys who've been willing to do that I've coached it's been priceless.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like you've grown a lot in your time at Overland.
Absolutely.
This is a perfect segue because I want to take you back to 1994. Hinckley High School, state champion. Way to go. I read today you had 17 points in the championship.
Oh, you looked up everything.
Yeah, I did. Must have been on that night. But hey, from the 1994 state champion to the 2021 two-time state champion coach here at Overland,
Yep.
What's the biggest difference in you?
Gosh, as a player, you have so few things to worry about, in all honesty. I mean, in 1994, I thought I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, being a point guard, and never really understanding what my coach was doing in the background, never understanding his preparation, never understanding what he was doing before practice, after practice. Coming into it on the coach side, there is just so much preparation in terms of preparing for your opponent and just approaching every day knowing you're dealing with 12 different personalities on your own team, and the points that you're going to take a chance to correct them, the points that you're going to pull back and say, I'll let that go. It's just a constant management piece that I never would have imagined as a player. It's something that I think I took for granted, and I'm sure most players take for granted.
4 years, a player comes in here as a freshman through their senior year. Once they exit this program and exit high school, what's something, maybe the biggest thing, you hope they take with it that perhaps they learned from you in the program?
I think maintaining excellence as an expectation, not as an anomaly, to where they expect excellence of themselves socially, in the classroom, academically, and whatever else they're going on to do, but having a constant expectation of excellence and always seeing their ceiling as something that's dynamic, something that constantly is being pushed up. It's not a ceiling in the literal sense. It's something that is a limitation, but it's something that should continue to rise with you as you get better and, as you keep excellence as kind of your mantra.
What does the opportunity to be involved in their life outside of basketball mean to you here at Overland?
Everything. It means more than the basketball itself. Having these conversations, I got a call from a young man and he was actually on one of my Hawks team, the very first Hawks team I coached when I was 23 years old, 20 years ago. And he called, we haven't talked in probably 15 years, and he said, I just had a tragedy in my family, and as I was reviewing the things and the people in my life that have influenced me and that have mattered most, you came to mind. I just wanted to call and say hi to you, and I just wanted to ask, can you call and encourage my mom a little bit? That was the most powerful thing that's happened to me since I've been coaching. It was unbelievable in that instance for him to reach out to me in the midst of what he was going through. And that touched me in ways that I really can't even explain, you know. So interactions like that, being able to be there for them in situations that, you know, aren't always agreeable, that matters a lot, because I've stumbled, you know, and I've went through some of the things that they go through. So them to have a sounding board that's not necessarily a parent, somebody they can talk to completely honestly, it's way bigger than the game.
You reflect on your 20 years of coaching now. How special is it for you to have that position?
It's added a purpose to my life that I don't know what I'd do without it. And I'm a very, very proud father. Being a dad is the greatest thing I've ever done. But if that was all I had in terms of my involvement with our youth and with my community, I'd feel empty. Being able to coach for 20 years and being engulfed in this community in particular, it's added a purpose to my life that I don't know would have existed otherwise. And, you know, my relationship with Overland, you know, I receive a lot of love here and people thanking me for what I do, but people don't realize how much this school and this community has done for me on the flip side.
And you recently just received a little more love. Positive Coaching Alliance recognized you as one of the top leaders of young men and women in this country as a coach. How cool is that for you to have that recognition?
It's an amazing feeling, man, and it feels really good to receive it and all of the outreach. And I'm usually a low-key kind of guy, you know, I like to fly under the radar. And I was really appreciative of our athletic director and our admin here nominating me for that award. But you know, the thing it does more than anything to me is I don't want to say applies pressure, but it kind of gives me a higher level of accountability of who I am as a coach, as a human being. So I'm appreciative of it for that reason, you know, more than any other thing. It forces me to even be better than I feel like I am right now.
Puts a stamp on it, huh?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Well, congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
I appreciate that.
I'm wondering for you, this is a loaded question, but to be great, what does that mean in your words?
I think to be great is to identify your own limits, your own ceiling, your own surroundings, the things that are possible roadblocks for you, and go beyond those things. And I think it's a relative thing. It differs for all of us. You know, some of us come from different backgrounds. Some of us have different privileges that others don't have. But if we each identify, these are the limiters in my life, and these are the things that I'm gonna go beyond. These are the things I'm gonna exceed beyond. That's greatness, in my opinion.
I'd like to guess that from 20 years ago, your first year of coaching, like you mentioned, you've gotten a little bit better as a coach.
Oh my gosh. It's embarrassing sometimes to think about how bad I once was. just clueless, man. I mean, thinking I knew what I was doing. I had really good players. I was fortunate, but I thought we were successful because of me, you know. And
so you think your team now would beat your team 20 years ago then?
Oh, we probably beat us pretty good.
So how about it? What's the difference from you 20 years ago to now?
Just learning and taking my lumps, strategy-wise, preparation-wise, just seeing some of the best guys do it, you know, being able to compete against the Rudy Carries and the Ken Shaws and these guys who have done it at a high level for so long, and, you know, they beat up on you enough, and finally you say, I need to figure out what he's doing to make him so much better than me. And it's just that experience and having the chance to interact with people who are really, really good at this.
That's awesome. Finding people you enjoy watching, playing against, think they're great, and taking those to your own game.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've learned a lot from a lot of coaches who have kicked my butt over the years, man. And they've been good about sharing with me, so that's been cool.
You've got a couple of championships on your belt too, though.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I can talk a little bit, but I'm still a work in progress.
Hey, if there's one quote, philosophy, anything like that you think you take to your life the most, what would you say it was?
Gosh, the first thing that came to mind has the S word in it, but it's just about accountability. Own your, own
Own your stuff.
Own your stuff. Yes. It's really simple, but it's something that every time I'm feeling down, every time I feel like something external is why I'm not at my best, I remind myself of that. And I feel like when we're at our best, we're the masters of our own destiny, and shouldn't anything be able to, pull you from that purpose.
When you look back on your coaching career in all of basketball, what comes to mind?
That's almost a legacy question, and I don't know if that's a really, really tough question. I don't know how I would answer that, but I think more than anything, relationships, impacting young people and relationships is the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah.
It's a special thing to have, Coach.
It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Really
Absolutely,
appreciate the time.
guys.